Welcome to Vitamin B, Anil. It's our absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Anil, it's not very often that you get to sit in front of someone who's so versatile, who's doing so many different things at the same time. So I'm really humbled to actually be in your presence today, and it's great to have you here again. One of the things, Anil, I got to know more about you was couple of years back, I think it's about 4 years back, when I heard you on TED Talks, where you really talked about flex politics beta. And that's when I realized that there's an activist who's now turned into a politician, who's then further turned into an entrepreneur as well, right? And in the process, it's always interesting to know the person behind the story, person behind the impact. And that's where I'd love for us to start this conversation, have the audience know you a little better. And I want to start with Making of I. This is a book that you wrote a few years back, which was about your personal journey. It was about your deep reflections on what helped you spiritually grow, right? So, Anil, let's start by understanding really what does spirituality mean to you?
Well, I think about 12 years ago, I wrote that book, Making of I.
Yeah.
It's the first attempt.
Yeah.
And it was a collection of about 21 stories, real life stories from my life and the lessons I learned from those incidents. Spirituality, it's very difficult to define, because if I have to put it in a one-liner, spirituality is nothing but what it deals with the spirit. And if we believe that we are not the body, but we are a spirit soul, and whatever deals with that subject is spirituality. Now, it has got many definitions, it has got different perspective and different philosophical things behind it. For me, it's this understanding of spirituality comes from Bhagavad Gita, which is the probably only spiritual book. I read it and I keep reading it for years together now. And every time I read Gita, it gives me different perspective to life. And I believe that conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna is nothing but the conversation what we are having today with the higher self. And Gita becomes the guiding principle of life. And it's very hard to implement everything said in the Gita, because Gita has said it so easily, the things which are very hard to do. And I try to implement as many teachings of Bhagavad Gita as possible in my life. And in the book Making of I wrote a lot of stories through which I learned the lesson. And I also actually took some of those lessons from Bhagavad Gita and implemented implemented in those particular stories, and say, okay, what should I learn from those incidents of my life, and from those incidents of my life, comparison to what's said in Bhagavad Gita. So I think in line with what's said in Bhagavad Gita. So I think for me, it's simple that we are a spirit soul. The life is beyond body. So I would say it's body, mind, and soul. 3 different journeys we make in life.
Being a leader for society, for Bangalore, for Karnataka, all the things that you've done, right? I could only imagine it may not have always been easy. So what is that emotional experience that you endure daily? Can you help us understand that?
So I have not called myself a leader. I have only took up more and more responsibility, and those responsibility I wanted to fulfill with my best of my ability. I think in the process, I could have become a leader to a small group of people. So where you can say Prime Minister Modi ji is a leader of the entire country. I have become a leader for few people who think that this man has an ability to lead us, because he has fulfilled many of the responsibility he has taken up over the period of time. And that's what people see it. The more responsibility you take, bigger leader you become. Being a politician, which is my primary work, and entrepreneur is a secondary work. And all the things what I do, or what I did over the period of time, is to fulfill my responsibility towards the society. I don't think that anything is charity, because everybody must perform their duty towards the society. And as you said, I was an activist. I believe that you can do a lot of things being a politician. You can change a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I believed in the idea of revolution. Yeah. But I realized that it's not the revolution which can happen today. It's the evolution which happens over the period of time. It's not an one-day event. It is a continuous process of changing, and to bring about a big change in the society which I want to see, and I have to constantly work on a day-to-day basis to see that change, because nothing can happen in a day. So I was an activist who was to take up social causes and fight against the establishment. Yeah. But now that I was in BJP, and we were in government in Karnataka, and we are in government in Central. Yeah. And being a part of the establishment, I know that things take time. Yes. So I think for me, politics is the place to serve. I always say that I do seva from here, politics from here. So I came to politics to serve, and I continue to remind myself that it's a place of Maya. So because a lot of people get carried away by power, and power corrupts. And when you are in that setup, the system, so you tend to lose your core goal. Yeah. Because you are looking at one power after power, position after position, and then you lose the core purpose of why you are there. Yeah. So I remind myself very often by keeping the social service as the core motive for my political life. Yeah. So I think I have made peace with all the things happens in politics. I'm kind of come to a stage where things will happen on its own. Yeah. And whether you become the means to that purpose, cause, is what decides who you are. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I think if God has put me whom I am seeking now, so if He has put me in a certain system, certain setup to do certain things, yeah, like we do a lot of social activity, we do reach out to a lot of people, thousands of people we help every year, and I feel that that's an opportunity I got to serve so many people. Yeah.
I was also thinking, when I was reflecting about a life of a person who's doing so many different roles, right from being, a politician to a writer, right, and continuing your service. And then I started researching on this whole concept of burnout. Even Forbes today says 2024 is a year where the world should avoid a burnout, right? And burnout, for the benefit of our audience, is when you're emotionally overwhelmed, you're drained, right? Do you experience that, given that you have so many things going on, and sometimes you don't see yourself coming to an end or a closing of a topic, right? It's ongoing. So do you burn out? Have you ever experienced that?
So I do whatever the hell I want to do in life. So I don't worry about how others perceive me when I do things. And I'm mindful of few things. I'm mindful of not doing anything wrong. And I'm mindful of people around me, and whose life will be impacted by my actions. So those are the things I'm mindful of. Otherwise, I do whatever I want to do. Okay. So in so many, I've come far, very far in life, from a small village in Kundapur Taluk, Shankarnarayana, and a small remote village. From there to here, wherever I'm standing today, I've come far in life. Yeah. It's very interesting as a politician, if you see that in a single day, we have so many emotions. Yeah. So morning I go to a wedding, I go to a birthday party, I go to a baby shower, I go to a funeral, I go to hospital to visit somebody who is suffering. So I do all of these things. All of these things for an individual are different emotions, correct? Yeah. And when you see all of these things on a day-to-day basis, you kind of come to a understanding of life that it is you have to become a witness to all the things happening around you and be detached to it.
Yeah.
And I keep training my mind that the detachment is the most important thing in politics, because the moments you start attaching yourself to all the things happening around you, it is going to make you sad, because every day I come across people with the utmost difficulties and nerve-wracking pain what people go through, and some of the stories which I hear on a day-to-day basis is just so painful. So I think as an individual, politics teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
And we have to go through a lot of things.
Yeah.
And we become we kind of become the people whom people want to share their problems with.
Yeah.
And they find they're not bloodly related to you, and many of them are not your friends or anything. Right? So they are in my word, they are just strangers, and yet they are known to us.
Yeah.
So we know whatever we should know to help them. Yeah. We don't know beyond that who they are, but we only know so much to help them.
Yeah.
And being a politician, sometimes it's very hard, because people expect you to be a very strong, tough man, because they think that you have to take the pain of everybody and experience it, and yet be not affected by it. So I think the expectation of people makes us probably more aware of our own responsibility. So that's why I think I'm okay. I don't think I have any complaints being in politics or being in
about burning out.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you do whatever you think you want to do.
Yeah.
Whatever helps you become a better version of yourself to help others.
Yeah.
And there's no burning out. Of course, physical burning out is quite common, and also if you have too many programs happening, so much of political things going on, obviously you will burn out.
Sure.
And I would say that is temporary.
Yeah.
You can get a good night's sleep and get up in the morning and start over again. All that you need is a good night's sleep. I always think that if you can get a good night's sleep, you are good enough. You're good to go the next day.
Yeah.
So
No, that's great. I think more and more, Anil, as we know, the younger generation, right, the Gen Zers, there's so much of mental and emotional problems which are coming out. So these messages and having a philosophy, a spiritual bent of mind is always helping you deal with all these small term and not very big issues as well, right? So I want to now move to a little bit of your social impact work, right? Let's spend some time on that. I loved, as a Bangalorean who was born and raised here myself, being a Kannadiga as well, I think a lot of the work that you've done, right, in your activism phase, as well as I'm sure you're continuing some of it, and as a politician, a lot of the topics that you have picked in the past and now are very relevant to the common man. When I walk out, I see those issues, and that is what was actually very fascinating for me. Why was banning flex banners so important for Bangalore's well-being?
So we started this campaign about 7-8 years ago, and it took a while for it to materialize.
Yeah.
At any given point of time in Bangalore city, it had about 100,000 banners all over the place with all the dirty material which was causing environmental pollution, and it was also causing a political pollution, because all those people who put themselves out and get visibility with no cost, doing nothing, and they claim to be our leaders. So because leadership needs visibility, right? So they think that putting their face on the banner gives them the visibility, and that can make them leaders. And that's why I used to say that flex banners were not only causing environmental pollution, it was also causing political pollution. So we fought hard, and we have filed so many complaints. We put black ink on the banners. We offered money for people to remove the banner. It was a sustained effort of almost for 2 years, which led to the banner. And a lot of civic agencies like BPAC, so many other people have worked on this over the period of time,
Yeah.
and finally you see Bangalore, you hardly find banners. Once in a while they pop up and some complaint has been filed, but by and large we don't see that kind
Too
of
many banners like that. Yeah, I agree.
which used to happen earlier. So these, any of the, if you see any of my social activities or causes I picked up, which are very close to what I think as a philosophy in life, and I think politics should be fair to everybody, and if few people who have the muscle power can go put a banner, what about those people who work in the community and genuinely help people, will lose the chance to become the leaders, because these people, everybody thinks, oh, they are putting the banner, that means they are visible.
Yeah.
Correct. So, and for example, a lot of our initiatives, from scholarship program to free medical aid program, all of this, I have picked up all of these initiatives, uh, which are something to do with what I what I have been experiencing. For example, scholarship program. When I was a student and I had no money to go to school, it was very difficult for my father to mobilize resources to send us to school, and college to forget. So I had to ask my uncle and go and help him in his sweet shop during the free time, and he paid the fee. So whenever people come to me asking uh, to pay their school fees, college fees, I do sympathize. I do kind of feel responsible, because if I could not afford it, and that day few people helped me, I got some scholarship, somehow I managed to educate myself with whatever the resources available to me at that point of time, and whoever has helped me. I think that it's a way to pay it forward, that I should help as many as possible who are seeking scholarship, and who are, some of them are very bright students, but the family is not able to afford their education. So we have given scholarships to thousands of students, and I'm very glad that that scholarship has helped them uh, go to continue their education. And some of them have finished their education and uh, earning now, and family is very thankful to what we have done. And then if you take medical aid, when my father was admitted to hospital about 21 days, our total bill was about 75,000, which we could not afford. So we had to collect 2,000, 5,000 from all our relatives, known people. I had to borrow some money. Everybody pulled in, and we paid the discharge fee. So I know it's very hard to deal with both emotional and financial stress when your loved one is admitted in a hospital. And whenever people come with such kind of a problem, I tend to do whatever the bit I can. We used to run a clinic called Atal Janata Clinic, used to treat 100 patients every day of primary healthcare. And this, I see it as something to do with my own experience. And there's an emotional connect to most of my charitable initiatives from my own past. And I don't want anybody to suffer the way we suffered. And of course, there are people who have suffered much worse than us, and there are still people suffering, going through much more difficulty, much more pain than what I went through. But I always think that it's my responsibility to help as many as possible, so that they don't suffer what we have suffered. So,
Another, social impact project of yours, or initiative, if I may call it, is the Peace Auto movement that you created, right? When Uber and Ola and even Namayatri now has come, I think they've sort of integrated the auto drivers onto that platform. But initially there was a bit of a resistance. And in certain states like Goa, etc., you don't see Uber, right? You just don't have that kind of a formal setup. So how did was there any relationship between your Peace Auto movement helping and supporting the auto driver community, who you call as our cultural ambassadors as well, right? Was there any support they received? Has that movement actually helped them deal with this business model change that has really happened?
So the idea of Peace Auto was to bring good auto drivers together and build a sense of community among themselves and make sure that they feel secured in their own community where they get help in terms of getting easy access to loan, to buy the auto, or some scholarship program for the children. And that sense of community I wanted to bring and build among the auto drivers who are good people. And that's what I think we have been successfully able to build a large community. Thousands of auto drivers have joined the Peace Auto movement. And annually we do Auto Rickshaw Day to celebrate their contribution to the city in transporting people from one place to another place, irrespective of all of the difficulties. They needed to be rewarded in terms of respect, in terms of recognizing their contribution to society. So that's why we came up with Auto Rickshaw Day on November 9th, and we do a lot of scholarship programs, some initiatives to reach out to them. It's a very large organization now.
How big is it, Anil, right now?
About, I think, 10,000 people. Many of them also fly Ola. They also fly with the different initiatives on Mayatri. And it's a very tough life. So auto drivers face a lot of problem. And I believe that government must do a lot for them. So as they are in the middle of public service and private business.
That's right.
They are caught in the middle.
That's right.
Are they the private business or they are the public service people? So I think government needs to do a lot to support them.
And what I really liked was because there were a lot of people who come into the city from other parts of India, you all actually train them to learn specific words, right? So that there is no language barrier between the customer as well as the auto driver as well. I thought that was really quite nice.
So we did that for a while. I think whoever comes to Bangalore from any other state, one of the responsibilities is that you may not know the language, because language is very hard to pick up after some age. It's not easy. So if you ask me that, can I pick up the language fast? It's very hard for me to pick up. So, but what it needs is that you, by saying one word in the local language, you are showing a respect towards that language, correct? And where a person who, we are all emotional beings, where we have our emotion towards our land, our language, our culture, and it's very important for other person who's coming home to respect my identity in my own place, correct? And that's what we were trying to tell people who are coming from different parts of India to settle down in Bangalore, that you may not be able to learn the entire language. If you cannot, at least learn few words.
And the auto driver also cannot learn multiple languages at the same time, right? So there's that sensitization process that this is great. So, you know, through most of the things that you've done, right? It's amazing that you've taken the risk. You've taken and shown that leadership, right? But I'm sure some of it didn't work, Anil, as most of it in life for any of us doesn't work. So what is the importance of failing, right? Failure has such a big role to play in the way we live our life. And the youth of this nation needs to really understand that very closely as well, right?
So, as I said, that I was not failing, I was bettering myself over the period of time. So I would say, okay, if I have not succeeded, or that has not gone, whatever my work has not resulted in what I wanted, and I've learned something from it, and I'm going to better it the next time. So even in my last many years of my life, I have failed in, if you have to use the word, I have failed in lot of attempts, lots. I think I failed more than I succeeded in terms of number of attempts. And sometimes those failures are smaller, and I succeeded in some bigger things and failed in smaller things. In the larger context, you could see that, oh, he succeeded in it, correct? But I have failed many more times than I succeeded. I think those things of those days of failing, which helped me to understand my own self, my own ability to keep going, correct? So I think sometimes what happens is that it's okay if you don't see the result today.
Okay.
And if it's okay if your efforts are not paying off, but it will pay off over the period of time. So you have to keep going. I say the day you think that you are struggling is when the problem starts. If you think that no, these are the days of making, and I am going to put more and more efforts, and you only see the efforts you're putting, and that's how I looked at it. And you have to have unflinching faith in either the Almighty, if you believe, and yourself, that you could do better. So, and I don't compare myself with anybody, because we all start from somewhere.
Of course.
And we all end up somewhere. And I think it's okay if you don't succeed in 20s, in 30s, and if you succeed in 40s, succeed in 50s. It doesn't matter. In life, if you don't become anything, it's still fine. If you have lived your life, if you have enjoyed, if you have had purpose beyond materialistic life, and I think it's still okay, because majority of the people come, they live their life, and they go. So, and some are driven by materialistic goals, some are driven by spiritual goals, some are just driven by the family goals. That I want to have a beautiful family, and I just want to earn whatever the livelihood I want to earn. I want to live a good life and go. It's absolutely okay if you don't become anything in life, and I'm okay if I don't become anything in life, because that becoming something in life is what making most youngsters depressed. And that's not the goal. So it is not becoming something in life, because I know it's very hard, it's very philosophical to say, oh, it's okay if you don't become anything in life, it's okay if you don't have the money. No, I'm saying that you can always try, but if you don't get it, don't be disappointed with it.
I think this is really important, because in India, particularly, the way our familial pressure system itself works, right? It's causing a lot of distress for younger people. More and more suicides are happening in today's school and colleges as well. So thank you for your messages. I think they're very key. Particularly, what I'm reflecting on is it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be perfect, right? But find a way to reason, find a way to sort of address it, because it can actually be overcome as well, right? And there are many, many things today. Just staying with the youth, staying with education, because a topic like this makes me think of education. And I love your story, because I have a nephew who's always fighting with my sister, saying, why should I study? I have such great information on the internet, and I'm getting smarter listening to multiple people rather than just sitting in the classroom. And I know, Anil, you were very courageous, especially given your background, that you came from Udupi, from a small place, having all the struggles and being humble. You've come to where we are today, talking about your inspiring life, right? You didn't continue college. You took that whole courageous step, saying, I'm going to start something different. What is fundamentally wrong with our, or can I say this? What is fundamentally the gap in our education system today? What is urgent for us to change in the education system?
My reason for dropping out is nothing about my rebellious nature, or I don't like this education system, nothing about that. I didn't have the money to pay for that education. I had to go borrow it from somebody, which I did not like. So as a 20-year-old boy, I did not like taking money from my uncle. And I thought entire our family problem can be solved with money. It's my thinking. As a 20-year-old boy, I was thinking that if I had lots of money, my family wouldn't have to go through anything, and everybody will be happy. My sister will have the best of the education and the marriage. My brother will do well. My family, my parents will be happy always. So my fund, if you ask me that why did I drop out, I dropped out to make money. That's it, nothing else.
Okay.
I did not know what education system was.
Yeah.
I was a 20-year-old boy who
Yeah.
just did my 12th,
Yeah.
and the same education system, I got 95% in PCM, got a government quota seat in MS Ramaya College
Sure.
to do engineering, and I dropped out because I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
Because I thought that if I continue to study, if I become an engineer, and that time engineering freshers were drawing 22,000 salary, maximum is 50,000, 60,000.
Sure.
And I thought it's too less. One, because when will I ever make money? Right? That time my thinking was to make money.
Sure.
I had nothing else.
Yeah.
Because I thought money will solve every problem of my family.
Understood. Yeah.
Coming back to your question of education system, it evolves over the period of time. I don't think that there's anything wrong in totality. There's nothing wrong in it. It needs to be amended. I would say there's a saying that it needs to be amended over the period of time, because education is a dynamic thing, and in the changing world you have to change the way you educate children. That has to change.
So the whole idea is that once I have studied, for example, in Karnataka alone, you have little over 17% of people who are educated and they're not working. On the other hand, you have people who are budding entrepreneurs. You have a lot of startups where a number of them actually have not completed their education. So what can our youth actually develop from a mindset standpoint to take those risks, right? Culturally, we just want to move in the conventional direction. What could we do differently, Anil? What would your perspective?
See, entrepreneurship is choice. You have to make the choice, and you have to live with the consequence of that choice.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur may or may not succeed. Correct. If you succeed, you can always come and give a speech saying like that, look, I took a risk and I succeeded. What if you don't succeed? Now, here is a very interesting take, that when you make a choice in life, as a student, you want to be in the college or you don't want to be in the college is a choice one a student has to make. But of course, parents will have a say, because to certain degree, parents are responsible towards the children.
Yeah.
And as a parent, they feel responsible towards their children. They want children to have a great future.
Sure.
That's why they will always be worried about what will my son or a daughter do if he is not in the college.
Yeah.
And some parents are bold enough, brave enough, and they have faith in their children's ability to take bigger risk, and they support that big decisions. Some parents think that, okay, now let my son or a daughter finish education first and let them take any other decision after that, because they think that completing the education is the bare minimum requirement to earn a good life living.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that is fair. I think if you fail in entrepreneurship, you want to take up a job, you might need a good education in specific subject, because as an entrepreneur you will do a lot of things.
Right.
But when you want to go to work in a company, you will be joining a specific job with a specific skill set.
Yeah.
That time you might need a kind of a courses or kind of a degree which is needed for that particular job. Anyway, so what I am saying is that for today's youth in the ever-changing world, which changes every 20 seconds, not day, years, month, it changes every 20
Incredible,
seconds.
right? Yeah.
And you have to keep up with that change.
Yeah.
And I feel that today's generation is having a tougher time because it's an ever-changing world.
Yeah.
And they have same human limitations, whatever the previous generation had. We all have 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 legs, and everything same. Our ability is same, but they have to compete in the world which is much faster.
Yeah.
I think for young people of today, it is much harder.
Yeah.
And we say they got it easy. No, they didn't get it easy. I think young people are facing much more hardship
Yeah.
because they are living in a world full of information, world full of access, and full of choices, and full of competition.
Yeah, no, absolutely, could
So
not
they have
agree
it
more.
difficult. They
And
have it.
emotionally also, right?
Yeah.
A lot of resilience needs to be
Yeah.
built
At
as
the end
well.
of the day, whether you are a last generation, you are a millennial, you are a
Gen Z.
Gen Z, or whoever you are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, humans are the same.
Yeah.
But look at the way world has changed for all of us, all of the Gen Zs, that it is too fast.
Yeah.
You have to catch up with it.
Mm.
And then you will say, oh, they are depressed, they're always in tension, because we made the whole world so fast.
Yeah. No, absolutely agreed. And, just coming to the last part of our discussion as well, right, and our conversation, I'm also curious to know, like, I know we just talked about something very serious, but you're working on something that's pretty cool, that's very vogue, and you basically got Metaman to work with Drip Project now. And you're, of course, wearing some fabulous jewelry as well. Why men's jewelry? And why Gen Z only? I was very curious to understand how is that sort of creating a well-being, a lifestyle well-being also for people.
No, it's just a purely a fashion business. So let's put it like that. I'm very passionate about fashion, and I believe that fashion is a part of our society, which is core to how we express ourselves.
Yeah.
And fashion is an extension of our expression.
Yeah.
Through fashion, through whether it's jewelry, apparel, shoes, everything, we express ourselves. When when you see somebody is dressed up in a particular way, you kind of understand, oh, this person has this kind of a thinking, or this person is like that. He's characterized by this one, because we all like different things. And Metaman and Drip Project brands are the Gen Z brands.
Yeah.
We want to be a very cool fashion startup.
Yeah.
So we started with jewelry. Now we are having apparel. We are going to launch perfume, sneaker. We're going to launch eyewear, everything.
Cool.
Under the brand Drip Project and Metaman. So I think it was a fashion project for me.
Yeah.
And it's just one thing which I love to do.
Yeah.
One of the things which I love to do.
Of course. Yeah.
And now I'm launching Hight Table, which is a offline social networking app, because people keep asking me, how do you network with people? How do you approach people? And it's very hard to meet right kind of a people. And why should I meet a stranger? So
it's a dating app, or
no, it's not a dating.
It's a business.
It is not just a dating app.
Okay.
It's not just a business app. It's not just a networking app. There's a lot to this app. So that's why it's called Hight Table, offline social network. So I believe that we are social beings, and we must meet people. Yeah. Everybody is a stranger before you meet. And the same stranger whom you meet may end up being your business partner, life partner, friend, whatever.
Sure.
So I am of a strong belief that we must meet more and more people, because one of the solution to beat loneliness is also meeting more people. Yes. So it's very important that we meet right kind of a people.
Yeah.
And this particular app, Hight Table, enables you to meet right people at the right time.
Yeah.
And have a right conversation.
Yeah.
So that's what we are.
That's wonderful, Anil. And as we just come to a last part of our conversation, I can't let you go without really addressing the core philosophy that vitamin B stands for, right? How do you take care of your well-being? You are doing so many things. I keep coming back to that, right? What is your daily routine? What do you eat? What do you avoid? Tell us everything.
I'm a bit hard on myself when it comes to eating. So I believe that there's regret in discipline and there is regret in pain. So I choose the first one, which is I know being disciplined in day-to-day life and with food is very hard on yourself. and sometimes you regret not having uh, a sugary dish which is very palatable, but then you realize that no, you should not take it because it's
Yeah.
good for your health in the long run, right? So I work on the longevity. I believe that we all can live longer and healthier if we watch what we eat, if we are careful of the what content we consume.
Yeah.
So we consume food and content.
Right.
So we should be mindful of both food and content. So what we consume,
Yeah.
one for your stomach and the body, one for the mind,
Sure.
right? So and also my seeking in spirituality helps me
Yeah.
in keeping my well-being. So I have a simple diet. I probably don't eat most of the things.
You don't eat most.
I
of
don't
the things.
eat most of the things which are not necessary for nourishing the body.
Okay.
I say that I don't eat for the pleasure. I eat to nourish my body. So I have given up on pleasure eating. I avoid a lot of food which are not necessary for me to which are not necessary for my body. So I try to keep my blood clean, never have a regret of not eating.
Okay.
Correct? I don't regret not eating anything because of course sometimes you feel like, oh, I should be having this, but discipline comes in. And
has this been something recently that you started, or since
no,
a long time?
I've been following a strict food diet for a while now, for a few years, and now I've become more and more disciplined with it, and my diet is quite intense now. So whether it is how much quantity I'll eat, what kind of a food I will eat, is very important to me. And same time, I feel the body is a temple. Body is a vehicle which will help me achieve my purpose beyond material.
Yeah.
So it's very much necessary for me to take care of this body.
Sure.
So I advise everybody, which I don't advise. So it's something which I want to share, that treat your body as a temple.
Yeah.
Treat it like, don't abuse it.
Yeah.
So like I don't abuse. I don't do anything.
Right.
Like no drinking, no smoking, no tea, coffee, nothing.
Yeah.
So which is my way of
personal,
right? So
yeah.
I don't need it. Like I say, I don't need those things. Right?
Thank you for sharing that, and I love the fact that you said your body is a temple, and find a personalized way to figure out your diet, your own lifestyle, right? And the fact that it's really helping you despite you doing so many interesting things. But thank you for spending the hour, and it's been really, really nice talking to you as well, and being over with us at Vitamin B.
Thank you.
I could not appreciate that more.
I wish your podcast good luck, and I hope more and more people watch it and get inspired by it and benefit a lot. And it's very important to share knowledge.
Yes.
And share experiences, both knowledge and experience, because knowledge does not come without experience. And without even thinking about how will people perceive it. Because it's very important for us to honestly share what we feel, what we do, what experiences we have had. So I think that's what makes us unique and who we are as people, right? And I wish all your audience good luck, and hope they find this whole conversation useful.
I'm sure they will. Thank you, Anil. Thanks again.